We expect to learn more information from police in the Dells today after a woman was found dead in a home downtown. We'll share what we know this morning.
And an Illinois family is still holding out hope that a missing boy will come home after someone claiming to be Timothy Pitson lied to police.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on this Friday, April 5th. You made it to Friday and we are getting rewarded with warmer temperatures in the forecast.
Yeah, yesterday was quite cool.
Yes.
Today will be much better. You'll definitely notice the difference as you go outside, especially for the afternoon. This morning, still pretty cloudy. Take a look at the WISC-TV weather cam. We're looking at kind of drizzly, foggy conditions here across southern Wisconsin. Still a lot of moisture left in the atmosphere, even though all the rain has come to an end. Visibility is not a big issue here in Madison right now, although it's down just to 6 miles. 2.5 mile visibility, though, in Monroe and the Dells. Less as you cross the Mississippi River Valley into Iowa. Visibility is less than a mile there. Our rain has come to an end, but again, some patchy drizzle is lingering across the area, so be aware of that this morning. Still might be some damp roads as you head out the door. Temperatures, though, will climb from the 30s through the 40s into the upper 50s today. Yesterday's high was 44. This will be almost 15 degrees warmer than that today. Here's a look at your traffic maps this morning across southern Wisconsin. We're not seeing any major issues on the Beltline, although some of those roads headed to the Beltline are showing some brake lights right now. Verona Road, also Highway 14. We're looking at also a few delays in between Mount Horeb and Verona this morning on the highway. No accidents, though, to report.
And even warmer temperatures to look forward to this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, 60 still in the forecast.
Sounds great. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
6:02 your time now. Police in Wisconsin Dells will continue their investigation today after the body of a 23-year-old woman was found in a home on Thursday.
One person has been arrested in connection with her death. Christina Laurie is live from the Dells.
Good morning. Wisconsin Dells Police Chief Jody Ward is calling what happened here a fast-moving, fluid situation. As you can see behind me, caution tape is still up, part of the road block off. Police are still on scene after a 23-year-old woman was found dead here in a home on the 300 block of Washington Avenue. Now, officers were called to this home after the Montgomery County Dispatch in Pennsylvania asked the Wisconsin Dells Police Department to conduct a welfare check on that woman around 4:30 Thursday afternoon. When police arrived, officers found the woman's body and say no one else was in the home. Later, they arrested a 31-year-old who returned to the house. That person is considered a suspect in the investigation. Police here in the Dells say there is no threat to the public and this death investigation is considered domestic. Now, officers aren't releasing the name of the woman or the suspect in custody, but we expect to learn more this afternoon. That's when an autopsy is scheduled to be conducted on that woman, Leah and Danica.
All right, Christina Laurie reporting for us. Thank you, Christina.
The family of Timothy Pitson says they are grieving all over again after a person claiming to be the missing boy turned out to be an imposter. 2 days ago, a young man told police in Kentucky that he was Pitson and that he had escaped from his kidnappers just across state lines in Ohio. Pitson disappeared in 2011. He was last seen on security cameras with his mother at the Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells. She was later found dead in a Rockford hotel room of an apparent suicide, leaving a note saying Timothy was with people who loved him but would never be found. Pitson was just 6 years old at the time, so he would be 14 years old now. But DNA results show the person claiming to be Pitson is actually a 23-year-old from Ohio. His family says the past couple days have been emotionally exhausting.
It's kind of back to ground zero for us. You know, kind of reliving everything that did happen and renewing the loss one more time. You know, hard.
Timothy's family says they have never given up hope that he will find his way back home, and authorities hope the attention the case has received over the past couple days will lead to more tips and possible leads.
Developing news out of California now. A coroner's jury has unanimously ruled that the two mothers who drove off a Mendocino County cliff last year intended for their 6 adopted kids in the car to die. The driver, Jennifer Hart, had a blood alcohol level of 0.1. Sarah Hart, the passenger, had a toxic level of the active ingredient in Benadryl in her system. Investigators found at least 3 of the kids also had that drug in their bloodstream. Jurors officially ruled the children's deaths at the hands of another person rather than by accident. Staff at Grand Canyon National Park are asking people to listen to their safety warnings after 3 people fell to their death in just 8 days. The latest was a 67-year-old man who died Wednesday after falling over the canyon rim. Last week, a man from Hong Kong was taking pictures at an overlook when he slipped and fell. Another body was found in a forested area of the park. All 3 deaths are still under investigation this morning. According to a spokesperson, there are an average of 12 fatalities at the park every year, but most of them are from medical issues.
New this morning, a former basketball coach for UW-Rock County will spend about a month in jail and a year on probation after he and his son confronted a referee last year. The Janesville Gazette reports 42-year-old Jamal Mosley tried to hit a ref at a game at UW-Waukesha last January. He missed, but his son, Jashawn, did hit that referee in what the district attorney is calling a full-on melee. Jashawn was sentenced to a year of probation with 45 days in jail. Jamal Mosley's attorney says he was reacting to what he interpreted to be a racial slur when the ref called him boy. Now, the defense says that he has rave reviews from players and parents and that this incident was out of character for him. In addition to his year on probation, he will also serve 50 hours of community service and undergo anger management treatment.
More local news out of Rock County. School leaders in the town of Beloit say a bus crash that sent 4 students and the driver to the hospital could have been much worse. It all happened around 7 yesterday morning after the driver lost consciousness during a medical emergency behind the wheel. A dozen students were on the bus at the time. According to the superintendent of Beloit Turner, 3 of those students suffered broken bones and 1 suffered an injury that might need surgery. He says those kids were able to get help quickly because of where this crash happened.
Obviously, everybody's concerned right away. I think part of the maybe minor miracle in this situation is that it occurred where it did, directly in front of the police station, directly immediate adjacency to the fire station where we have our first responders coming from.
The superintendent says adding seatbelts to school buses is not something they're considering right now.
Drivers should expect delays and detours around downtown Middleton over the coming months. Starting April 22nd, stretches of University Avenue between Cayuga and Park Streets will be closed in both directions. This is part of a $2 million reconstruction project that includes new pavement, traffic signals, and left turn lanes at the intersection with Parmenter. That project's expected to wrap up by the 4th of July.
And a first alert traffic reminder for the UW-Madison campus. Starting Monday, West Dayton Street will be closed from Charter over to North Park Street. Crews will be starting work there on a steam tunnel project for the university. That whole street is going to be ripped up for reconstruction, from the storm sewer to the underground utilities, asphalt, even some sidewalk work. The commuter path along that stretch will have a detour, and so will Madison Metro buses. That closure should stretch all the way into October.
6:08 right now, and there is a new movie in theaters for superhero fans this weekend that was actually created by horror movie directors.
But don't worry, it's not like the Pet Sematary remake we told you about last hour, thank heavens. This one's a fun comedy. Will Loper will have a preview after your first alert forecast. Next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. Earlier this morning, we had some drizzle out here, but now that seems to be drying up. Still a little foggy, though, and very dreary to start this Friday morning. Speaking of dreary, that's, I guess, how you could characterize yesterday, with temperatures holding in the 40s through the afternoon, dropping into the 30s through the evening, and that's where we are this morning. All the rain, though, from yesterday has moved out of the area, so that is good news. We'll start to dry out today. Take a look at a wider view of the radar map, and there's quite a bit of snow showing up across parts of the UP and northern Michigan this morning. To the west, though, it's pretty quiet, so we look for a dry forecast today. The clouds are hanging on, though, all the way back into the Dakotas this morning, so we'll have to be patient waiting for them to clear. Should start to see some clearing beginning later on this afternoon. Now, here's a look at temperatures across the upper Midwest. Still some 40s on the map in a few spots, especially south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Through much of Iowa and Illinois, temperatures are in the 40s this morning. More 30s on the map here, though, in southern Wisconsin. It's 37 in Madison and Janesville, 39 in Platteville, down to 34 in the Dells. Still in the 40s, though, through the Wisconsin River Valley. Visibility is pretty good in most spots. West of the Mississippi River Valley, visibility, though, is less than a mile. So there still is a possibility for a little bit of fog yet this morning. Winds are very light from the east, but they'll be shifting to the south today, and that will allow us to warm up even more. Take a look at your future track forecast model. It does a pretty good job showing you how the clouds hang around the area through the lunch hour. Temperatures, though, will be climbing into the 50s. A slow clearing trend through the afternoon with high temperatures in the upper 50s later today. Turning partly cloudy tonight. That clearing isn't going to last too long, though, with rain moving across central and northern Wisconsin this weekend. Quite a few clouds are likely to linger across southern Wisconsin, although most areas should stay dry on Saturday. Our chances for rain start to increase on Sunday. Temperatures this weekend, though, will be in the 60s, in fact, mid to upper 60s. Mild still on Monday with a high of 65. And then I'm watching another storm system for late next week. Still some question marks on the exact track, but if this storm system shifts at all, we may have to adjust those precipitation types a little bit with cooler temperatures in the area. Let's get a look at your traffic maps this morning, though, with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, starting off with everything moving well on the Beltline. No delays showing up yet in either direction at this point. Looking at other roads here in Dane County, things are moving well for the most part. Just a few of the usual brake lights on Verona Road and Stoughton Road near the Beltline. Moving well downtown and on campus. Plan on things getting busier over the next hour or so. And other routes coming into the city, they're moving at the usual speeds with no issues. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Hattie. Okay, so this weekend in theaters, a movie is out that takes the concept of big with Tom Hanks and, you know, adds a bunch of superpowers.
Of course. The movie is Shazam, and here with the preview is our film critic, Will Loper.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So yeah, DC has taken a break from all the dark, serious brooding of Batman and Superman and giving us a lighter superhero film, one whose greatest power may be its humor. Take a look.
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
But I don't know your name, sir.
Shazam.
Wait, for real?
Say, okay!
Shazam?
A 14-year-old gets an ancient curse that allows him to turn into a hunky adult superhero.
This means Billy!
What is happening?
You're the only person I know that knows anything about this Cape Crusader stuff.
Can I?
Oh, yeah. That's crazy, right?
What are your superpowers?
Superpowers, dude? I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
AM to the PM, PM to the AM. You have super strength. Can you fly?
If I quit your PM, I still rock Mercedes. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
You okay? Why are you talking?
Shazam is rated PG-13.
His name is Captain Sparkle Fingers.
No, it's not. That's not my name.
Nice.
That's kind of cute.
It's so crazy to look at Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman just devoid of color or humor, and to go to a guy who literally has a glowing lightning bolt on his chest.
Really different feel.
And yeah,
And it's
jokes.
getting good reviews, 93% on Rotten
No,
Tomatoes.
yeah, they're saying it's just a perfect blend of humor, action, and just a fun time at the movies. So
I gotta ask you, Will, are we ever gonna get sick of superhero movies? I mean, we just came out with, you know, another one a couple weeks ago. And, you know, the lady power in that one, obviously a very different feel in this one, but my goodness, there are so many of them.
Never ending.
I was calling it like 3 years ago. I'm like, this superhero bubble, it's gonna burst soon.
Right.
And we're still going strong. So
And they're doing well, yeah.
and they're doing well, they're making money, and people still enjoy going to them. So
Yeah.
I guess not. We're still
I guess not, yeah.
going
Review
strong.
on Monday?
I'll have it, yep.
All right, see you later.
Yep, thanks guys.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So if you have a kid interested in aviation, there is a really cool opportunity for them to make some money, all while hanging out at the world's busiest airport this summer. We'll preview the Experimental Aviation Association's big hiring event. That's coming up.
Yeah, we're not talking about Shazam flying around, by the way. And it's a good day to get outside and do some, I don't know, some plane watching maybe after the drizzle clears out this morning. Temperatures will get up near the 60-degree mark. Hattie will have the details next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. Here's a look at visibility across southern Wisconsin. Fog not a huge issue here. 6 miles in Madison, but a little less in Monroe, as well as the Dells. Be aware there is still the potential for some fog, as well as some drizzle early today. Here's a look at your satellite and radar trends across the area. Skycam showing you that things are pretty cloudy here in southern Wisconsin this morning. Kind of a dreary start to the day. Visibility, as I mentioned, not a huge issue this morning, but there will be plenty of clouds for the region. Take a look at satellite and radar combined. While all the rain has moved out of the area, clouds linger for all of southern Wisconsin, much of Minnesota and Iowa. So we'll have to be a little patient before that clearing takes place this afternoon. Temperatures are starting in the 30s this morning, but it's definitely going to be warmer than it was yesterday. May not need as thick of a jacket today, with high temperatures climbing into the upper 50s. A little bit of sun possible at the end of the day. Have a wonderful Friday.
We certainly will. Thank you, Hattie. So as the FDA considers regulating CBD in foods, drinks, lotions, you name it, wherever it's popping up now, Madison's hosting an event this weekend where you can learn more about that substance and the plant it comes from. Madison's first ever hemp event is meant to combat the stigma around CBD and educate people on how hemp can be used to treat things like epilepsy, anxiety, or pain disorders. That's happening at the Monona Terrace from 10 until 4 Sunday. You can buy tickets at the web address on your screen there. It's hempitsfine.com. More than 2,000 people, by the way, are signed up to grow industrial hemp in Wisconsin this year. That's more than a 500% increase compared to last year's inaugural crop.
Tax day is just 10 days away now, and if you were planning to spend some of your return on new clothes for the family, but came back with less money in your refund, you're not alone. Analysts say this year's lower returns are largely to blame for a big drop in spending at stores this year. Retail sales were down 0.6% from January to February. The Treasury says it's issued more than $4 billion less in tax refunds than this time last year. It's not a great time to see that decline, since economists say the economy is already seeing a cool down.
Maybe you have a high school student who's interested in being a pilot or something like that. Well, there's a cool opportunity to earn some money this summer and watch some of the coolest planes on the planet. The EAA is looking to fill 600 part-time positions for its week-long Air Venture event in Oshkosh this July. There are retail positions available for anyone 14 years old and up, and security positions for anyone 16 and up. For a full list of positions for all ages, you can go to the website on your screen there. There are a number of hiring events starting next week.
All right, 6:23 your time now. Students in Baraboo are taking the lead on a new project to make sure their classmates have enough to eat.
Very cool story coming up. And Madison's outgoing mayor is no longer facing an ethics complaint over an employee getting fired. That update's next on News 3 Now this morning. The search is still on for someone to permanently take over as chancellor at one UW Systems school, and we expect an update on that search later today.
And an autopsy is scheduled later today on a woman found dead in a house here in the Dells. We have the latest on this fast-developing investigation.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning on this Friday, April 5th. And we are looking forward to a nice day, even though it's going to start out a little dreary out there.
Anything's better than yesterday. It was pretty cold.
Yeah.
So we were looking forward to highs pretty near 60. Hattie has the jacket on the patio this morning, but she might not be using it this afternoon, right, Patty?
Of course, yeah. It's still in the 30s right now, so I'm definitely wearing a jacket. I don't know about you. It's kind of a dreary start to the day, as you mentioned. It's light out, but it kind of isn't. We have a lot of clouds left in the area. Here's a live look from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam. We have a lot of low cloudiness, not a whole lot of fog for southern Wisconsin. West of the Mississippi River Valley, visibility is down to a quarter of a mile in a few spots, but it's at least better than 2 miles in most locations here in Madison. There may be some patchy drizzle left, but all the precipitation is moving away from us today. Will eventually dry out, and we could even see some clearing late today. Now, our temperatures are starting in the 30s this morning, but it's going to be a much warmer day today than yesterday. We should top in the upper 50s this afternoon. That's about 15 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. Let's get a look at those first alert traffic maps this morning. Some brake lights and delays showing up on Stoughton Road, both north and south of the Beltline. A little bit of a slowdown inbound on Verona Road at this hour as well. I'd look for volume to continue to increase as we go through the 8 o'clock hour. And that's your first alert traffic.
Yeah, Hattie, that warm up we're talking about today, that's going to continue into the weekend, right?
It definitely is. Still has 60s in the forecast, even with some clouds and a little bit of rain this weekend.
All right. Looking forward to hearing more about that. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
We start the news this half hour in the Dells, where police will continue a death investigation today. We expect to learn more this afternoon after they found a body in a home last night.
One person is in custody in connection to that death. Christina Laurie is live at the scene this morning with the latest. Christina.
Good morning. Wisconsin Dells Police Chief Jody Ward is calling what happened a fluid and fast-developing situation. As you can see behind me, police are still on scene. Part of the road is blocked off and caution tape is still up in front of a home here on the 300 block of Washington Avenue, where a 23-year-old woman was found dead. Now, officers were called to this home after the Montgomery County Dispatch in Pennsylvania asked the Wisconsin Dells Police Department to conduct a welfare check on that woman around 4:30 Thursday. When police arrived, officers found the woman's body and didn't know what else was in the home. Later, they arrested a 31-year-old who returned to the house. That person is considered a suspect in this investigation. Police here in the Dells say there is no threat to the public, and this death investigation is considered to be domestic. We talked to police this morning. They still are not releasing the name of the woman or the suspect they have in custody, but we hope to learn those answers as well as more after an autopsy is conducted later this afternoon. Leah and Danica.
Certainly a story we will follow up on today. Christina Laurie reporting live in Wisconsin Dells. Thank you, Christina.
The UW Board of Regents meets today on the flagship campus here in Madison, where the board president will offer an update on the search for a new chancellor at UW Whitewater. Beverly Copper resigned from that position at the end of last year after her husband was banned from campus for sexual harassment complaints. She's still teaching psychology on campus and collecting her full salary. The people leading the search for a new leader there expect to present their top choice for the job before graduation this spring. Speaking of regents, 2 of them are back at work this morning, even though Governor Evers fired them last month after a court ruling invalidated their appointments. Republican legislators confirmed 82 of former Governor Scott Walker's appointees during a December lame duck session. The group included Regents Scott Bechtold and Tori Tiedemann. A Dane County judge last month found that session was illegal, so Evers rescinded all 82 appointments. An appeals court stayed that ruling, however, so Evers reappointed 67 of those appointees, but Bechtold and Tiedemann were not among them. Neither commented on the issue at a regent meeting yesterday.
An ethics complaint against Madison Mayor Paul Soglin is being dismissed. A former city employee had filed that complaint against the mayor, saying she was unfairly fired after disagreeing with how the city was assessing commercial properties. The city said she was fired because of unprofessional workplace conduct. The State Journal reports the city's ethics board dismissed the complaint last night, saying it did not have the authority to rule on it since the accusations involved state law. However, the board did say she could refile a complaint if she could prove Soglin violated the city's ethics code. Thousands of pinwheels will soon line the lawn of the Rock County Courthouse, all to remind us how prevalent child abuse is in our communities. CASA of Rock County is planting more than 3,000 of those pinwheels tomorrow in Janesville. You're seeing a video from the event a couple years ago. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and each pinwheel is going to represent a report of child abuse or neglect received by the Rock County Child Welfare System in a year. Now, the pinwheel planting will be followed by a ceremony that includes a number from kids at Roosevelt and Jackson Elementary Schools. That event starts at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Students at Baraboo High School are taking it upon themselves to make sure their classmates have enough to eat. With the help of their teachers, kids in the FFA and FBLA clubs are running a food pantry out of the high school. Here's how it works. Students can fill out an order form online. The teacher removes the name from that form. Then students fill the order in a bag, usually giving enough for the entire family. The teacher then takes that bag and puts it in the ordering student's locker. So this whole thing stays completely anonymous. Teacher Christina Williams said she's seen how bad hunger can get at the high school, so she's happy she and her students can help.
And it reminds me how lucky I am to be in this profession and to watch my students just bloom and want to give, and that's the purpose of our FFA organization, and they're getting involved in their community, and it just makes me really proud.
The goal is to expand the program and help get more food to more students. So far, they've been able to give out bags to about 55 students, and they're always looking for more donations. You can find information on how to help them over on channel3000.com.
6:34 right now. The roof will probably be open for the interstate rivalry at Miller Park tonight. StubHub has $24 tickets still available for the Brewers and Cubs matchups. We're going to preview those coming up in the morning sprint.
And a new report shows what kind of economic benefits Wisconsin could see if the governor's plan to allow dreamers to pay in-state tuition goes through. More local news is still ahead on News 3 Now this morning. All right, so Danica called this picture majestic earlier this morning.
I mean, look at it.
Have to agree with her. Look at that picture. It's amazing, Kevin. Nice shot. Love the sun, too.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful over the Pecatonica River in Argyle there. Kevin, thank you. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Please use that hashtag, MyNews3Morning, so we can find it and share our favorites right here on the program. So you have a chance to share your thoughts on what the state should spend its money on later today. The co-chairs of the state's Joint Finance Committee will hold their first of 4 public hearings across the state today in Janesville. That runs from 10 until 5 today at the Pontiac Convention Center. It's the public's chance to really weigh in on what should be prioritized in that state spending plan. Other hearings will be held in Oak Creek, River Falls, and Green Bay over the next few weeks. Governor Tony Evers announced his $83 billion budget proposal at the end of February, but Republican leaders have already said they intend to write their own. That spending plan is due by the end of June.
Part of the governor's budget would allow so-called dreamers who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children to pay in-state tuition at UW system schools. A new report from a bipartisan immigration research organization shows that plan would have significant economic benefits. The study suggests the plan could generate $4.3 million in state and local tax revenue every year. That group estimates the program would produce more than 2,000 additional graduates. And if those students stay in Wisconsin, it would mean another $38 million for the state. Republicans have said the governor's overall proposal for the UW system financing is not financially feasible.
An estimated 2/3 of college students here in Wisconsin graduate with student loans, and that debt, as you probably know, can affect the entire family. The Department of Consumer Protection wants to make sure you are not falling for a scammer who offers a quick fix for paying off those loans. Debt consolidation companies often charge a lot for advice that you can actually get for free through the Department of Education. Consumer experts are optimistic, though, about Governor Evers' proposal to create a state-run student loan refinancing authority to provide some relief. The average student loan here in Wisconsin is nearly $30,000. So tomorrow, looking like a pretty nice day to get outside with highs near 70. We are looking a little gloomy to start the day. Some clouds, some fog, some drizzle out there, and we might have some storms to contend with over the weekend. Hattie shares her first alert forecast coming up.
But first, it's April 5th. We want to say happy birthday to Olivia and all the kids turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning. All right, trending online this morning, the parent company of Pick and Save is planning to stop using plastic bags in stores by 2025. A spokesperson says the transition will include consumer feedback to try and find the best alternative.
That's right. Plastic bags can take 10 to 1,000 years to decompose, and 100 billion of those end up in landfills around the country every year. When Kroger-owned stores get rid of their plastic bags, that'll mean 6 billion fewer of them in landfills each year.
Okay, this next story getting a lot of attention online this morning, especially here in Packer Nation.
That's right. Bleacher Report took a deep dive into the relationship between Aaron Rodgers and former Packers coach Mike McCarthy. That article cites anonymous personnel staffers, former players, some of Rodgers' friends, and others, outlining the growing tensions that reportedly started when McCarthy was the 49ers offensive coordinator and chose another quarterback over Rodgers in the 2006 draft. Now, some people quoted in the article talk about McCarthy's soft coaching style in Green Bay, saying that's why Rodgers started making his own calls in the huddle. Others say Rodgers holds grudges more than most and does not respect coaches he thinks he can outsmart. This is a very long article. We are not doing it justice right now, but it is a very interesting read for any football fan in general, but especially for those of you wondering, you know, what kind of the fallout looked like behind the scenes in Lambeau.
The saga continues. I think everybody is ready to move on, though, see what this new coach can do for Green Bay.
Yeah, but there's, I think, a lot of the questions that it brings up is whether or not Aaron Rodgers is ready to accept another coach and work with another coach, and whether he is capable of that. So again, good read if you can spare yourself a good half hour, though. It's, again, a pretty deep dive into this relationship. Really interesting.
Good context.
Yeah.
All right, over to Miss Hattie McLean now with the news of the day. A warm-up headed our way, right, Hats?
Yeah, that's the best news that I have. Take a look behind me, though. It is pretty cloudy outside. Not necessarily low enough to be considered fog here in Madison, but definitely a lot of low clouds in the area. A warm-up is in the forecast, though, and some of those temperature milestones that we've been looking for, that first 70-degree day, typically occurs in the first week of April, right around Monday. So we're getting close to that. We do have a warm up in the forecast for the upcoming weekend. We'll come close to 70, but top at 67 here in Madison, both Saturday and Sunday. Staying mild on Monday, but then another storm system has the potential to cool things down in a big way as we head into next week. And if you're looking for warmer temperatures, you're definitely not going to like this map. This is the 8 to 14 day outlook taking us into the middle of April, and you can see that colder than normal temperatures are expected for much of the United States, with the exception of the southeast. So if you want warmth, you're going to have to get a flight down to Florida or Georgia as we head towards the middle of April. Now, here's again a live look outside. It is cloudy and dreary this morning, but all of the rain has pushed out of the region. What we're not seeing on the map, maybe a little bit of drizzle that could be occurring across southern Wisconsin right now. Things will dry out, though, and for the midsection of the country, generally pretty quiet through the day today. All the precipitation confined to either coast. The west coast and the east coast looking pretty wet. Not causing any flight delays, though, at this hour. There is some fog through the central part of the country, but you can see flights are still running on time at all the major airports. Here's a look at your travel forecast for the day today. Again, wet in San Francisco as well as Portland. Quite warm across the southern tier of the United States, although from Jacksonville and Atlanta all the way up to New York, there is rain in the forecast today. Drier here across the Midwest. We are dealing with a lot of clouds this morning. Temperatures under that cloud cover, 35 in Minneapolis, 43 in Des Moines. Chicago starts the day at 40. We're pretty close to that here in Madison. We're at 37 degrees right now. A lot of 30s as you look at the map this morning, with the exception of the Wisconsin River Valley, where temperatures are in the 40s. Through the day today, take a look at future track. Winds shift to the south-southwest. That'll allow us to warm up rather quickly this morning. We're headed to highs in the upper 50s today, with just some a little bit of clearing taking place late this afternoon. So our chances for sun occur late today. Turning partly cloudy overnight tonight, but clouds quickly return to the area on Saturday. Looks like rain chances, though, are going to stay to the north of the region on Saturday. That extended outlook has temperatures in the 60s, though, this weekend, even despite that cloud cover and those chances for rain. Here in southern Wisconsin, we may see some showers and even isolated thunderstorms on Sunday. Looking ahead to next week, keep your eyes on the end of the week. That's another potential storm that could impact the area with much cooler conditions. Our pet bug forecast, though, how do you tell them apart? Cooper, Scooter, and Zeo.
Seeing triple.
Wanakee. awesome.
Oh, buddies.
Nice day for a walk today. It's going to be
Yeah.
57 at 3.
Those paws might be a little bit muddy in the fur because they're white. But
Less white, yeah. All
They
right.
look like they go to the spa quite often, though. Their hair is better than mine.
A lot of upkeep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Addie.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 Now this morning. Stay with us. .6:51, time for the morning sprint. We're starting out a little foggy and drizzly out there, but Hattie says we will be warming up today with some clearing later on.
But we start with Christina Laurie with an update on a death investigation happening in Wisconsin Dells. Christina.
Good morning. This morning, police are still on scene. Caution tape is up surrounding the home here on the 300 block of Washington Avenue, where a 23-year-old woman was found dead. Now, police are not releasing her name, but say she was found in this house Thursday afternoon. Officers have a 31-year-old suspect in custody. They aren't identifying him either. We're told there is no threat to the public. This was a domestic incident, and an autopsy on the woman is scheduled for later today.
My prayer has always been that when he was old enough, he would find us if we couldn't find him.
Those prayers from Timothy Pitson's grandmother are still unanswered this morning after the man who claimed to be the missing boy lied to authorities. Pitson was last seen nearly 8 years ago on surveillance video at the Kalahari Resort in the Dells. Police in Kentucky say a DNA test proves 23-year-old Brian Rennie was the one who claimed to be Pitson. Investigators are asking anyone with information on his disappearance to call Aurora Police or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
The man accused of murdering his child's mother will be back in Milwaukee County Court later this month after submitting a not guilty plea. 35-year-old Darius Higgins is facing life in prison for killing Sierra Robinson, then shooting and seriously injuring another woman. Higgins is also the suspect in the disappearance of 2-year-old Nolani Robinson, who was later found dead in a ditch in Minnesota. Higgins has not yet been charged in Nolani's kidnapping or her death.
Friday morning, we start with clouds in the area, but the rain is already moving out. Clouds will be slow to clear today, but temperatures will be warmer. Starting in the 30s this morning, quickly climbing through the 40s, already into the 50s by lunchtime. Temperatures will top in the upper 50s later on this afternoon.
Thank you, Hattie. President Trump will be at the U.S.-Mexico border today as he backs off from his plan to immediately close the border. Instead, the president warned he would first put tariffs on cars coming into the U.S. if Mexico doesn't do more to stop the flow of migrants and drugs. There have been major economic concerns associated with closing the border, which could affect everything from the car industry to the price of produce at the grocery store.
A former basketball coach at UW-Rock County will spend about a month in jail and a year on probation after he and his son confronted a referee last year. The Janesville Gazette reports 42-year-old Jamal Mosley tried to hit the ref at a game at UW-Waukesha last January. He missed, but his son didn't. Mosley's attorney says the incident was out of character and that he was reacting to what he interpreted to be a racial slur.
I think part of the maybe minor miracle in this situation is that it occurred where it did, directly in front of the police station, directly immediate adjacency to the fire station where we have our first responders coming from.
That right there is the superintendent of Beloit Turner Schools talking about a school bus crash yesterday morning after the driver lost consciousness during a medical emergency behind the wheel. A dozen students were on the bus at the time. 4 of those students went to the hospital with injuries. The superintendent says adding seatbelts to school buses is not something they're considering right now.
The UW Board of Regents president will offer an update later today on the search for a new chancellor at UW-Whitewater. Beverly Copper resigned from that position at the end of last year after her husband was banned from campus for sexual harassment complaints. The people leading the search for a new leader there expect to present their top choice for the job before graduation this spring.
The Department of Consumer Protection wants to make sure you're not falling for a scammer who offers a quick fix for paying off student loans. Debt consolidation companies often charge a lot for advice that you can get for free through the Department of Education. Consumer experts are optimistic about Governor Evers' proposal to create a state-run student loan refinancing authority to help provide some relief.
As the FDA considers regulations for CBD around the country, Madison will host its first ever hemp event this weekend. That's happening Sunday at the Monona Terrace. The It's Hemp, It's Fine conference is meant to combat the stigma around CBD and educate people about how hemp can be used to treat things like epilepsy, anxiety, or pain disorders. More than 2,000 people are signed up right now to grow industrial hemp in the state this year. That's more than a 500% increase compared to last year's inaugural crop.
The first of a 3-game weekend series against the Cubs starts tonight at Miller Park. The Brewers are on a roll to start the season, winning 5 of their first 6 games. They had a day off yesterday after sweeping the Reds in Cincinnati earlier this week. The Cubs have had a bit of a rocky start, though. They're 1-5 after losing to the Braves in Atlanta last night. First pitch is set for 7:10.
Things are also looking good for Milwaukee basketball as the Bucks clinch their #1 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The win last night over the Philadelphia 76ers also means that the Bucks will have the best record in the NBA and home court advantage in every playoff series they make it to. Giannis Antetokounmpo was on fire against Philly last night with 45 points, 13 rebounds. There are only 3 games left in the regular season, all at home at the Fiserv Forum.
Almost 6:57 your time now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a look at your Friday First Alert traffic. Hey, Josh.
Hey, good morning. The westbound Beltline beginning to get busier as everyone heads out for the day. Start looking for brake lights between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. Inbound side of John Nolan, you're picking up near the Rimrock and Olin Avenue intersections, moving into the downtown area. And other routes coming into Madison, they're moving at the usual speeds with no major issues. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh. Have a good weekend.
You too.
It is cloudy this morning, but we could see some clearing taking place late today. Just be patient. Temperatures will climb through the 40s into the upper 50s this afternoon. Even warmer for the weekend. Let's not forget, we're headed into the 60s both Saturday and Sunday. Chances for rain, though, in the area on Sunday.
Oh, we did not forget.
We've been looking forward to that since Monday, right?
Yeah, better believe
it. Yes, we have. The weekend and those temperatures. Thank you, Hattie, and thank you all for joining us today. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you back here Monday morning.